Next, we will study the new concept magnetic field due to a current element. In that, we are going to study Biot-Savart's law. Okay. Now, so far, what we have studied regarding the magnetic field, that magnetic field is external. We have applied external magnetic field to a point charge, and we have applied external magnetic field to a current carrying conductor. Clear? Now, in this concept, we are going to study what is the relationship between the source of magnetic field and the magnetic field at a particular point. The source of magnetic field is, we have already stated it, is current element. Now, in this, we are going to study the relation between the current element and the magnetic field produced by that current element. Now, first we study what is a current element. Now, we have a conductor, XY conductor here. In that conductor, current is flowing from X to Y direction. If I consider a small portion of the conductor, if I consider a small portion of the conductor of length dl, now that small portion of a conductor carrying electric current is called current element. An infinitesimal element, a very small element which carries the current, and that small portion of the current carrying conductor we call it as current element, and it is denoted by the length of the small portion of the conductor, that is delta L, and which is carrying a current. Therefore, I into dl represents the current element. Okay. Now, in this conductor, the current is flowing. Obviously, there is a magnetic field around it. Now, what is the direction of the magnetic field? We are already familiar. The direction is found by using right hand clasp rule, as we have told in the previous classes. That is, if you hold a current carrying conductor in your right hand, the four fingers are encircling the current carrying conductor, and with a stretched thumb. Then the thumb indicates the direction of the current, then encircled fingers represents the direction of the magnetic field around it. That concept we know. Now, based on that one, here we have a conductor XY through which a current is flowing. Since the current is flowing from X to Y, if I hold the conductor like this, now these fingers are encircling, therefore I am getting the magnetic field in this circular part. That means the magnetic field is entering into the plane of the board in the right hand side, and it is coming out of the plane of the board in the left hand side. Therefore, we have written here the magnetic field into, because it is entering. If I write the magnetic field here at the left side of this conductor, it becomes a dot. Magnetic field becomes a dot. That means it is coming out. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಉಂಟು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇದೆ. Now we are going to study what is the relationship between this current element and this magnetic field produced by the same current element at a particular point P. Okay. Now that relation is given by the two physicists Biot and Savart, and hence the law is called as Biot-Savart's law. Now we have a conductor which is carrying a current. We have considered a small portion of it of length delta L, dl, length dl. Therefore, I into dl represents a current element. Because of the current, the magnetic field is produced. Now consider some point P, at any arbitrary point P, which is at a distance with a position vector r from the current element. Now that current element is making an angle with the line joining the point, that is theta, as represented. Current element na direction, current ಯಾವ direction ಇರ್ತದೋ ಆ direction, and curved path ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ we have to draw a tangent. ಒಂದು tangent ಅನ್ನು ಎಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಂಜೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಂಜೆಂಟ್ ಏನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೋ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಥೀಟಾ, ಆಂಗಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಲೈನ್ ಜಾಯಿನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Now these two persons has given a law interlinking the magnetic field produced by this current element at this point with the current element. Now the statement, it states that the law states that if delta B is the magnetic field, magnitude of the magnetic field at the point P, magnitude of the magnetic field at the point P due to the current flowing through the conductor or due to the current in the current element, then the first point, the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the current element is directly proportional to the current flowing in the current element. The magnetic field produced, it directly depends on the current flowing in that current element. That means if you increase the current, the field also increases. If you decrease it, the field also decreases. That is the first point. Second point, the magnitude of this magnetic field, magnitude of the magnetic field is directly proportional to the length of the current element, that is dl. So here dl is the length of the current element. If you increase the length, obviously the magnetic field also increases. If you decrease the length of the current element, the magnetic field also decreases. So that is directly proportional. Second point. Third point, now this magnitude of the current element is also directly proportional to sine of the angle between the current element and the line joining the point to the current element, that is sine theta. dB proportional to sine theta. That is the third point. We have one more point, that is the magnitude of the magnetic field is inversely proportional to the square of the distance of the point from the current element. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance of the point from the current element, that is r square. Now this is the statement of Biot-Savart's law. So Biot-Savart's law states that the magnetic field due to a current element is directly proportional to the current flowing in it, directly proportional to the length of the current element, directly proportional to sine of the angle between the current element and the line joining the point to the current element, and inversely proportional to square of the distance of the point from the current element. So therefore we have got these 4 points according to Biot-Savart's law. Clear? So therefore then what is the magnitude of the magnetic field due to the current element? Now club all the 4 points. I will get I into dl into sine theta divided by, in the denominator it is r square. Therefore magnitude of the magnetic field due to the current element is given by this one. Now we remove this proportionality sign with a constant. Therefore dB is equal to, we are going to put a constant, that is mu naught divided by 4 pi. Constant is mu naught divided by 4 pi into IDL sin theta divided by r square. Now this is the magnitude of magnetic field at a point produced by a current element. Okay. Now mu naught is a constant. Now here we have taken the medium as air or vacuum. Now this statement is stated in the presence of air or vacuum. If you have any other medium, then the expression little bit changes. Now this expression is due to air or vacuum. Now mu naught is a constant of proportionality, constant of proportionality, and is called permeability of the medium. We have already studied in electrostatics. We have got some one constant there, that is epsilon naught. It is permittivity. Epsilon naught, it is permittivity in electrostatics. Now here dealing with magnetism. Mu naught is a constant of proportionality and it is called as permeability. Now what is the meaning of this permeability? Now it is the ability of a medium to allow or to pass the magnetic field through it. Clear? Okay. And the value of mu naught is found to be in SI units is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. Unit becomes Tesla meter per ampere. Tesla meter per ampere, value of that one. Therefore, mu naught divided by 4 pi becomes, the value of mu naught divided by 4 pi ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, mu naught divided by 4 pi is equal to, it is only 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere ಆಗ್ತದೆ. 10 to the power of minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So that is Biot-Savart's law. Now if you write it in vector form, if you write Biot-Savart's law in vector form, then obviously magnetic field is a vector quantity. Magnetic field is a vector quantity. So therefore this is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi. Now here current is a scalar quantity, but I into dl is a vector quantity. That is, current element is a vector quantity. Then what is the direction of the current element? It is the direction of the current. Therefore, we have I into vector dl. I into vector dl. And sin theta is there. That means we have a cross product and it is vector r. I into dl cross product vector r divided by, initially there is no r in the numerator, but we have sin theta. Because of that one we have to put a cross product. Therefore we have introduced vector r. So obviously denominator becomes r square becomes r cube. You should remember this one. It becomes r cube. If you simplify this one, dl cross r becomes dl r sin theta. One r get cancels. Once again we get the same relation. Now this is the vector form of Biot-Savart's law. Vector form of Biot-Savart's law. Now this law, Biot-Savart's law, has some similarities with Coulomb's law that we have studied in electrostatics. So Biot-Savart's law and Coulomb's law, they have some similarities as well as they have some differences that we will study now. Now first we will work out what are the similarities. Now similarities. between Biot-Savart's law and Coulomb's law in electrostatics. ಎರಡು ಲಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಅವೆರಡರ ನಡುವೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒನ್ ಬೈ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡುವ. ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿಮಿಲಾರಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡುವ. Now this is Biot-Savart's law. What is Coulomb's law? It is the electrostatic force, so that is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into so Q1 Q2 divided by R square. Okay, that is the relation, and this is Biot-Savart's law. Now look here, the electrostatic force is inversely proportional to R square. So magnetic field is inversely proportional to R square. So therefore, the two law, both the laws have inverse square dependence. On R. Therefore, both the laws are long range. They have a long range because they have inverse square dependence. That is the first point, first similarity. And if you work out the second similarity is the principle of superposition holds good for both the laws. Principle of superposition. It holds good for both the laws. While calculating the electric field due to multiple charge system, we are using principle of superposition. Similarly, while calculating the magnetic field due to a number of current elements, then also the principle of superposition also works out. Now these are the two similarities between the Biot-Savart's law and the Coulomb's law. Now differences we will work out. What are the differences between the two? First difference, electric field is due to a scalar quantity. What is that scalar quantity? Charge. So electric field produce ಮಾಡೋನು ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅವನನ್ನ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಂತಂದೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ಎ ವೆಕ್ಟಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. It is due to a vector quantity. What is that vector quantity? Just we have defined current element. Electric field charge ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ, ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅವನು ವೆಕ್ಟಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. Second point, there is an angle dependence in the case of magnetic field. There is no angle dependence in the case of electrostatic field. So electric field ಅಥವಾ force no angle dependent. Magnetic field has angle dependent. Ready? Now in this relation we are not having any angular term sin theta, cos theta like that. But in the case of a magnetic field we are having an angular dependence, that is sin theta. That means here the magnetic field, it not only depends on the current and the length of the conductor, but it also depends on the angle between the current element and the line joining the point to the current element. That is the second difference. And the third difference between the two is, what is the direction of the electric field or electrostatic force? Now it is along position vector. Joining the point to the source. ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಕ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ಲೈನ್ ಜಾಯಿನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಸೋರ್ಸ್. ಆ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರೋಸ್ಟಾಟಿಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ಲೈನ್. ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್? It is perpendicular to the plane. The direction of the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane containing the current element and the position vector. ಒಂದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇನಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ದೀಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಆರ್ ದ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಕೂಲಂಬ್ಸ್ ಲಾ and in electrostatics and Biot-Savart's law in magnetism. Okay, we will study one important note. Now in magnetic field we are having a constant mu naught. It is called permeability of the medium. In electrostatics we have a constant of proportionality epsilon naught, which is called permittivity. Okay, if I take the product of these two, what we can get? Look here. Now multiplying and dividing by 4 pi. Clear? Now just rearrange the terms. I am rearranging them. Mu naught divided by 4 pi into 4 pi epsilon naught. Now we know the value of this one. Mu naught divided by 4 pi is 10 to the power of minus 7. Just we have studied. Into what is the value of 4 pi epsilon naught? In electrostatic we have studied 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is, we know that value 9 into 10 to the power of 9. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 to the power of 9. So here is 4 pi epsilon naught. Therefore taking the reciprocal, we get 1 upon 9 into 10 to the power of 9. Here, just simplify it. What we are going to get? 1 divided by 9 into, here we are taking 10 to the power of minus 7 to the denominator. It becomes plus 7 and hence it becomes 10 to the power of 16. Or simplifying this one, I will get 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. I can write it as 3 into 10 to the power of 8 whole square. Now what is this one? 3 into 10 to the power of 8. It is nothing but the speed of light. So therefore I will replace that one by, here I will write, therefore mu naught epsilon naught is equal to 1 by c square, or I will get an important relation, 1 by c is equal to 1 by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. Very important relation. We will study further regarding this one in the 8th chapter, that is electromagnetic waves. Therefore the product of permeability and permittivity is equal to 1 upon square of the speed of light ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Our speed of light c is equal to 1 divided by square root of mu naught epsilon naught. ಇದನ್ನ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕಿಗೆ ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಟೂ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ permeability and permittivity? Now this is the relation. Next we study one important derivation regarding magnetic field and the axis of a circular current loop. So here we are having a circular loop which is carrying a current. The direction of the current is as shown in the diagram. Now here our aim is, we are going to calculate what is the magnetic field at this point P. What is the magnetic field at this point P, which is at a distance x from the center of the circular loop. Center of the circular loop. Now here we have taken the circular loop in the YZ plane. The circular loop is like this. It is in the YZ plane. And the axis of the loop is taken along the x-axis. Axis is taken along the x-axis. On that axis, we are taking a point P, which is at a distance x from the center. Now we have to calculate what is the magnetic field at that point due to the circular loop. For that one, what we are going to make is, we are considering a current element, a small portion of the circular loop, a small portion of the current carrying conductor. It is a current element. A current element of length dl. Clear? Now this current element is at a distance small r from the point P. Clear? Now from Pythagoras theorem, we can obtain the relation between small r, capital R and the distance x as r square is equal to capital R square plus x square, or small r is equal to square root of r square plus x square. That relation we are getting by Pythagoras theorem. Now we have considered the current element. Due to this current element, there is obviously a magnetic field at this point P. Now that is given by Biot-Savart's law. By using Biot-Savart's law, we can find what is the magnitude of the magnetic field at that point. Now the magnitude of the magnetic field at that point is given by, we are already known that one, mu naught divided by 4 pi I into dl sin theta divided by r square. It is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the point P due to this current element. But here the angle between the current element and the line joining the point to the current element is 90 degree. I will show by this pens. If the red ink pen represents the direction of the current element and this black ink pen represents the direction of the position of the point P from the current element, the angle between the two remains 90 degree. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. If you take any current element, then that current element makes an angle of 90 degree with the position vector of the point P. If you rotate like this anywhere, you will get the same thing. They are mutually perpendicular to each other. Now on that concept, sin theta, here it is, theta is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, the magnitude of the magnetic field due to the current element is mu naught divided by 4 pi into IDL divided by r square. Clear? Okay. What is the direction of this magnetic field? We are already familiar with the direction of the magnetic field is always perpendicular to the plane containing the current element and the position vector. Now the current element is in this direction. Now position vector is in this direction. That means we are having a plane along this direction. We have a plane. Now perpendicular to the plane, we are having this one, perpendicular to the plane. One question arises. Now if you have a plane like this, the perpendicular either you can take upwards or you can take downwards. Then which is the correct direction? For that one also we have to make use of right hand clasp rule. Right hand clasp rule. Now here, while writing the Biot-Savart's law in the vector form, we have taken IDL cross R. IDL cross R. So DL is the first vector and R is the second vector. Therefore, if I curl the four fingers such that it indicates the cross product from DL to R. Now DL is along this direction, R is along this direction, we are traveling from DL to R. If you curl like that, then obviously the extended thumb indicates the direction of the magnetic field. So therefore the magnetic field here, this one is perpendicular to the plane containing the current element and the position vector of the point to the current element. That is clear. Okay. Now, if I consider one more current element which is diametrically opposite to the first current element, by considering the one more current element and doing the same thing here, we are also getting the magnetic field due to another current element which is diametrically opposite to the first current element. Magnitude remains the same, but what about the direction? Since here the current element is along this direction, now position vector becomes this one, then obviously the magnetic field, it is now cross product and it comes in the downward direction. It is magnetic field comes here. Now we have taken two current elements which are diametrically opposite to each other, and the magnetic field at the point P due to these two current elements, the expression remains the same. Then obviously here it is making an angle theta with the x-axis. So therefore we resolve the magnetic field into a horizontal component and the vertical component. Now by resolving the magnetic field into two components, we get the first component, horizontal component dbx, that is equal to db cos theta. It is the horizontal component. This is db cos theta. This is horizontal component along the x-axis. Now along the y-axis we have db sin theta. That we have taken db perpendicular. That is equal to db sin theta. It is vertical. We are getting the horizontal component and vertical component. Now we have taken two current elements. For the two current elements, we are getting magnetic field in two directions. Now those magnetic fields are resolved into horizontal and vertical components. Now the vertical component for the upper current element is in this direction. Similarly, the vertical component for the lower direction is along this one. Now these two vertical components are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, therefore they cancel each other. But the horizontal components are in the same direction. The horizontal components, they add up. So therefore, the vertical components cancels out, only the horizontal components adds up. The total magnetic field, the magnetic field along the horizontal component only remains. Therefore, the total magnetic field is 2 times the magnetic field along the horizontal component. Clear? Now that is equal to, so 2 into dbx is db cos theta, db cos theta we are getting. Clear? Why we are getting 2? Because we are taking two current elements. Clear? Yes, we will advance further. Now substituting the values. Now dB, it is the magnetic field due to two current elements, and 2 into, here dB is magnetic field due to a single current element. Okay, it is mu naught divided by 4 pi into IDL divided by R square, that we are getting. Now we have cos theta term here, that is written as it is cos theta. So don't get confused with this theta with this sin theta. Now this sin theta is obtained in the Biot-Savart's law. This cos theta, it is the horizontal component. Don't get confused. Now from this diagram, by geometry, the angle between the y-axis and the line joining the point of the current element is theta, and the same angle is obtained in the horizontal direction. That angle is theta. So therefore, from the diagram, what is cos theta? We can write cos theta is equal to, look here in this triangle. If I have this triangle, here we have a theta, then cos theta becomes, it is horizontal divided by the hypotenuse. The horizontal side divided by the hypotenuse is because theta is here. Therefore, cos theta from the diagram becomes, it is capital R divided by small r. Clear? Now substituting in the above expression, we get dB is equal to 2 mu naught divided by 4 pi I into dl divided by r square. Now cos theta, value of cos theta is capital R divided by small r. Now rearranging the terms, now dB is equal to, I am taking mu naught divided by 4 pi as a constant. Now I am writing I into 2 dl. I am combining these two. I am taking 2 with dl into r divided by r square into r. It is r cube. Clear? Now what is this one? It is the magnetic field due to the two current elements. Now what is our aim? We have to calculate what is the magnetic field due to the entire circular loop. What we have made earlier, we have divided the circular loop into a number of current elements. Among those current elements, we have taken diametrically opposite a pair of current elements. So therefore, this is the magnetic field due to a pair of current elements. Then the total magnetic field due to the entire loop. Total magnetic due to the entire loop means we have to make use of this principle of superposition. That is sigma notation. It is the summation of magnetic field due to all the elements is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi into I into 2dl into r divided by r cube. So B is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi is common. Now I is a constant and r take out and r cube. Now summation is applied only for 2dl. Summation is for 2dl. Now it is here sigma 2dl, it is nothing but the total length of the circular loop. It is the total length of the circular loop. The total length of the circular loop is nothing but circumference of the circle. It is the circumference of the circle. So therefore, the expression becomes mu naught divided by 4 pi I capital R divided by R cube into sigma 2 dl. Sigma 2 dl is nothing but 2 pi r. Circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. Clear? Now this step is important. Some students make mistake while doing this summation. If you have taken 2 inside the summation, then it is 2 pi r. If you have taken 2 outside the summation, then the sigma dl becomes only pi r. Now this step is very, very important one. Okay. Now further simplification leads to, now B is equal to, now 2 ones are 2 2s get cancels. Therefore rearranging the terms, I will get mu naught I capital R square divided by pi get cancels 2 R cube. 2 R cube. It is the magnitude. Now here we are going to substitute the value of small r from these two relations. ಎರಡು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆರ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆರ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಗೆ therefore ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಇವನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, ಆರ್ ಇವನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ, therefore ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯೂಬ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದೆರಡನ್ನು ಮರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ therefore it is ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಟು ದ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ 3/2 ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Now ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ is this much, Small r is this much. Therefore, r cube is multiply these two, r square plus x square and r square plus x square to the power of half. 1 plus half add madre, you will get the power 3 by 2. So therefore, the final expression for magnetic field B is equal to mu naught I r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. That is the final expression for magnetic field due to a current loop. Magnetic field due to a current loop. It is the magnitude we have written. If you write in vector form, what it will be written in how many? It is equal to vector B is equal to, so mu naught I r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. We have to write a unit vector. The direction is along the x-axis. Along the x-axis, which is the unit vector? I cap is the unit vector. This is the magnitude. Clear? Now, like this, we are going to solve. We are going to derive the relation. We will study one important case here. Now, we have calculated what is the field at this point. Now, I have to calculate what is the magnetic field at the center of the circular loop. At the center, x becomes 0. Therefore, for center, x is equal to 0 ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. Now, the expression ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, magnitude ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So, B is equal to mu naught I r square divided by 2. Even 0 ಆಗೋಯ್ತು. X square is 0. R square to the power of 3 by 2. Therefore, it is r cube. Our further simplification leads to, so center ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ B naught ಅಂತ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುವ. B naught is the magnetic field at the center of the circular loop is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 r. This is very important. You should remember B naught is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 r is the expression for magnetic field due to a circular loop at the center of the loop ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. Clear? Now the direction of this total magnetic field is given by right hand thumb rule. It is given by right hand thumb rule. It states that if you curl the palm of your right hand such that the 4 fingers pointing in the direction of current flow, then the extended thumb of the right hand indicates the direction of the total magnetic field. The meaning is very simple. We have a current loop like this. If you curl your right hand palm such that all the fingers are pointing in the direction of the current, then the extended thumb indicates the direction of the magnetic field, total magnetic field due to the circular loop. Just now we have derived the expression for magnetic field due to a circular current loop is given by mu naught I r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. Now here we have taken a current loop of having only one turn. If the current loop is having capital N number of turns, what will be the total magnetic field? Then the total magnetic field becomes mu naught N I r square divided by 2 into r square plus x square to the power of 3 by 2. For the same current loop having n number of turns, the magnetic field at the center, that is x is equal to 0 ಆದರೆ magnetic field at the center ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅದು mu naught N I divided by 2r ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So ಇದು ಎರಡು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Now this is for a coil having n number of turns which are tightly wound such that the radius of each turn remains the same. Clear? We'll solve one problem. Consider a tightly wound 100 turn coil of radius 10 centimeter carrying a current of 1 amp. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the center of the coil? ಒಂದು ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕಾಯಿಲ್ 100 ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. Since they are tightly wound, each turn is having the same radius. Okay. Now, given, what are the given things here? The number of turns is given, that is 100. Radius of the coil is given, that is 10 centimeter. If I write it in SI unit, it is 0.1 meter. It carries a current of 1 amps. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field? Since at the center they have asked, we have written it as B naught. Obviously, we know the expression for magnetic field at the center. So B naught is equal to mu naught N I divided by 2 capital R. That relation, just to substitute the values, it is 4 pi into 10 to the power of minus 7. Number of turns is 100. Current carrying is 1 divided by, so radius 2 into 0.1. Okay, very simple ಇದೆ. Simplify ಮಾಡಿ, 1 sa 2 sa ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, that is 2 pi into, now here 10 to the power of minus 7, now he is 10 square, 0.1 can be written as 10 to the power of minus 1. If I take 10 to the power of minus 1 to the numerator, 10 to the power of plus 3, 10 to the power of minus 7. Therefore, it becomes 10 to the power of minus 4, that is 2 into 3.14 into 10 to the power of minus 4, that is equal to 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. It is the value of the magnetic field due to that circular loop having 100 turns at the center. Since we are getting 10 to the power of minus 4, so this magnetic field can also be written as 6.28 Gauss. 28 Gauss, because we know that relation 1 Gauss is equal to 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla.